Stay close. No going off on your own. The desert doesn't take prisoners.
Okay, we made it to Caravan Ribat. Where should we go next? Maybe we should ask the nearby guard.
Hold on. Look over there.
Is that Dia?
You sure you want to brave the desert alone? I mean, it's your choice at the end of the day. But...
It's not my first time. I'll be fine.
Cyno.
If you're really going to go through with this, then at least take our advice. When you're packing for your trip, budget for 5 days more than you planned.
Makes sense. Okay, I'll go get ready.
Thought we might find you here. You're trying to retrace Cyrus's steps, aren't you?
Didn't I tell you not to come after me? I thought I had a good lead on you.
Well, sorry, but we never agreed to that. Why would you go off on your own like this?
Nothing personal. It's just a complex situation.
Takes a special kind of person to get Cyno chasing them all the way out to But why so coy today, huh? You only gave us his age and description. Why can't you reveal his name? Is he Sumeru's most wanted or something? Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while.
Dia and Candace! So nice to see you. Actually, seeing all of our friends.
You're looking well. Glad to see it. Candace and I came to Caravan Ribat on business. We ran into Cyno as he was asking about some elderly gentleman's whereabouts. Some people say they saw him. Guess he stood out as an older guy heading into the desert. That's gotta be one heck of a story there.
Cyno, it's okay if you can't tell us anything about the case. We're here to help however you need. The more people we have working on this, the quicker we'll be able to find the person you seek.
No, it's not that simple.
We spoke with Zaha Hadid. From what she said, it's pretty clear that he wants to try and solve this on his own. It won't be easy trying to find him in the desert when he's...
Sounds like this is far more complex than we...
Still, if he started from Caravan Ribat, the chances are that his route took him...
My thanks to you both. Once this is resolved, I will...
Come on. No need to get all serious. Just buy a round of drinks next time.
That's a deal.
All right, so...
Yes, we'll handle it from here. Thank you again for your help.
All right, then we'll leave you to it. Just remember, if you change your mind...
And don't think you'd be imposing. You can depend on us.
Don't worry, we'll keep him out of trouble.
Cyno should count himself lucky that the Traveler and Tighnari got here when they...
The desert tests the character of all who enter it, and only those with wisdom and...
Cyno should count himself...
The desert tests...
Hold on. There's a few things I'd like to clear up.
Go on.
So, after you left the campsite, we had a longer talk.
Clearly, we've only scratched the surface of the Temple of Silence question.
Do you have any connection with the Temple of Silence?
I do. I trust you're all aware of the spirit that gives me my power. Due to my unique constitution, but my memory of that time is hazy. It's a good thing that Kaveh noticed the emblem on the letter. I did not recognize that symbol.
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for Kaveh, and for Alhaitham's diligence during his time as acting Grand Sage.
But Cyrus must have recognized it right away, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any qualms about you reporting it. Oh, maybe his connection to the Temple of Silence goes even deeper than yours.
I suspect so too. Professor has never once mentioned the Temple of Silence in conversation. And whenever the conversation turns to Hermanubis and the concept of spirit indwelling, he avoids going into any depth.
Well, speaking of avoiding things, you do realize, don't you, now that we've caught up with you, you're stuck with us for the rest of the way.
I am aware. And I have accepted it. Or rather, I don't see how I could manage to ditch you en route. So, I might as well accept that you're coming.
That's right. Fact is, we're coming with you whether you like it or not.
Fair enough. Then at least...
Works for me. All right, off we go. Let's start by seeing what the guards here can...
Hello.
Mahamatra Cyno?
I'm looking for someone. So I'd like to confirm... Where was he going?
Let me think. He took a seat by the entrance of the village for a while, and had a brief chat. Do you have a map? I can mark out the direction he was heading and the best routes.
I have one.
Great. There you go.
Thank you so much.
You've got a really good memory.
Ah, you're quite welcome. Best of luck. I hope you find him soon.
Hold on.
Do you think it's safe to act?
Should be.
No, I'll do it.
Huh? Why can't Cyno go talk to them? What difference does it make?
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress, I might not be the most welcome visitor here. Just in case...
Ah, hello there. I hope I'm not interrupting. My friend and I are looking for an elderly...
Oh, a missing person, huh? Sure.
I'm just wondering if you've seen him. Let me give you the details.
So, a silver-haired guy in a long robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes, and he's
He'd stand out like a sore thumb around here.
Yeah, sounds like the kind of guy we'd remember if we saw him.
He's looking behind me.
Uh-oh.
Your friend over there stands out a lot, too. Hey, aren't you Cyno, the General Mahamatra?
Yes, that's me.
You don't seem surprised that I recognized you.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, you're the one looking for the old man who's...
I have a bad feeling about this guy.
Someone's on edge. You don't trust me. No need to hide it. I understand why you're wary of us. Still, you came to us asking for help. Do you want it?
I thought you were a group of merchants. Seems I was mistaken.
Your henchmen don't look like much, but something tells me they put up a better fight than most mercenaries.
Hey! Hear that, guys? You're my henchman now.
Suits me, as long as I get paid for it.
Just cut to the chase already. I'm running out of patience.
Alright, come with me. All of you. Don't you want to find your friend? A silver-haired, long-robed, culture type with thoughtful eyes?
So you know where he is?
Just follow me. And?
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing here!
Please, step back.
Ooh, something's coming out of the ground!
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden? King Deshret's technology?
Wait, so... How...
Is this the Temple of Silence?
So, all good questions. There'll be plenty of
This is not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an awake. Ooh, Paimon's scared. They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the guy who...
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for your sake you haven't done any—
Me too. I hope I haven't done anything to incur your wrath. All right. You can wait here for now. I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended?
They can't have been at the oasis by chance. They were waiting for us. Whoever the leader is here...
So this is the Temple of Silence. After leaving the rainforest, they hid themselves here.
Hey, look! That guy's coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was so delighted to see you. My name is Sethos. I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions. Other than that, you could...
So we're free to explore by ourselves?
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried about you running off. Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood...
He's right.
Hey, Sethos! Have you got some time?
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is, he insisted that nothing was off the table.
So you framed Cyrus for a crime that he did not commit?
No. That's not entirely true. Let me jog your memory. Of course. Uraka was a great accomplice.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as soon?
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem. And it was his own choice. What kind of question is that? He's the...
Right, but back at the Oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure, or you wouldn't have asked him.
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could say...
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this guy's not being...
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, you'll have nothing... Yes, that was... He insisted that...
So you
No. That's not entirely... Of course.
Why did Cyrus...
You'll have to ask him that. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem. Nope.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. Mm-hmm.
I never imagined that the true Temple of Silence would be hidden somewhere like this.
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess.
We should be wary of our host.
Ah, here he is. Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader of the temple.
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Ah!
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus owes me his life. And to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us two old men.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning.
Some things in life catch up with you. No matter what you do, you should...
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason.
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them to light...
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak of your past deeds to the students. You recognized our emblem because for many years, you lived among us. Indeed, you knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, and joined us in our mission to revive the might of Hermanubis, but then you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past contributions. And then you left. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
You really know how to hold a grudge.
Hermanubis' might? And the wielder of his power?
Does he mean you?
Professor.
The moon is right. I came here once before. He rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited... it was a great, daring plan. One shrouded. The moon proposed that we implant bar fragments, shards of Hermanubis, into the bodies of suitable vessels. If the experiment were... many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But we soon discovered that the bodies of grown adults could not withstand Hermanubis' power. In the end, Bamoon offered his own. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody in exchange for us.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis. As remnants of his raw, the test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony, and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power had been amplified. The original plan was for a 3-stage experiment: resonance, implantation, and recovery. And as the second stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. Should we implant the fragments one at a time? But as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed with a light we had never seen before. Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments. Under the circumstances, to preserve our faith and our power, we implanted.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment.
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to hunt down and kill you both. Your lives were spared, but I have paid a great price. I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you and your buff.
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your Ba fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the General Mahamatra. Your actions would be seen as—
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You were so young then, when we all gathered around and celebrated. You and he, Sethos.
You'd like me to return my power?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim it.
That power is not yours to reclaim. Cyno was—
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child, Sethos.
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence—
So what you're saying is, the power of 1 Ba fragment is not enough? You're at—
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it. How do you know that—
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is ours to bear.
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing is a terrible—
Don't listen to him, Cyno. That power is no—
I know. But if this is a question of your—
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that still need addressed. Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. I find it hard to believe that you went to all— You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well—
Wait. Those ears. So, we have a descendant of the Valukashuna. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day, we'll—
Why is he coughing so much?
Bamoon, you—
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. Leave this in my hands. I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a success. Still, it's no use talking about— I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. But I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same so I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave. Except for Cyrus.
You have courage and wise judgment, kid. Reminds me a lot of Bamoon in his younger years. I truly wish that the temple would take an objective look at the academia of today. You've been to the city yourself. I'm sure you've seen that much has changed for the better. And things will only continue to improve. Why not?
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion.
Tighnari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more. All you and Ba-Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba fragment for the
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious consideration.
I won't forsake my professor, nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner.
That works. Then I'll be waiting to hear. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants to say to Cyrus.
Are you sure about negotiating with...
I need to think this through. Everyone, let's meet again later.
All right, well, don't put too much pressure.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, Professor Cyrus came to the desert. He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something. We won't get anywhere trying to convince him to escape.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. Once Cyrus makes up his mind about something...
So that's one thing. A few other things. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. So on that, I don't have anything to add. My own memories of this place are hazy, though. Probably something to do with the overpowering presence of the Ba fragments. I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear in my mind. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Hermanubis is a real, intangible thing, and they are its rightful worshippers, then...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way!
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over its fate, since it belongs to one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret. So I will challenge them head-on, and win the right to wield this power for myself, fair and square.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the ruling elite of the day. Traditionally, such organizations are bound by a strict and ancient code of nobility. Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring their tribal bonds, or the rules laid down by their ancestors. I think we could turn that to our advantage. Go back to them with a proposal of our own.
Wow, and just like that, we've turned the tables on them!
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can, in terms that they cannot refuse.
That's...
Great. And I know just how to start the conversation.
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so...
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here.
Only one way to...
Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't...
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. I'm sure he appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy burden of work. Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with patients in a similar condition...
Yeah. I've known for...
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. You have a broader range, so tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this to a resolution while Bamoon is still alive to see it. That's what...
Yeah, there's no time to waste here.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now. Both of you have a very...
Right, and you didn't create this situation. They did, but some...
You're right. We both look at... I accept, Cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. That group of supporters were...
Sounds very fitting.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will permit you to participate in this rite, along with your chosen companions.
3 against 3. Sounds good.
However, I have some additional letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake.
None needed. We're on the same page. If I win, the Temple of Silence must If you win, I'll return my power.
It's a deal.
Well, after how that went?
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for me since the moment the professor slipped away to return to...
You have to win. You need this power, both as General Mahamatra and for...
Yeah, that's right! Besides, it stayed with you ever since you were a small child. Surely...
Both as General Mahamatra. Yeah, when you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot to tame this power and claim it for myself.
Exactly!
The Traveler and I will never lose.
And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that, for a variety of reasons, fell out with... But there must be personal factors at work here, too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't think that Sethos is any kind of villain. Tomorrow...
We mercs have one simple rule. Whoever pays the most is your new boss.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels with the greatest of all sages. This is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience. Representing the Temple of Silence, the...
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all the...
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather.
Representing the Academia, the
Ready. We will fight to have our boy...
Warriors, take your position. We come not to debate what brings our challengers here.
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong. Sending him out...
Okay, then you're second.
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we. Let's...
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with them or Paimon will make you regret it!
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
Yeah. Scatter.
A swift end to the first bout. When you're both ready,
Let's begin.
Watch out.
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
I hear everything! And Shroud! One thing after another! Keep up.
thus ends the second bout.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind you both that when you're both ready...
I am Sethos, vessel of Hermanubis. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Desh. We earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power. Now, I will fight.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus, the Sage of Spontamod. I fight in defense of my power, my professor, and you. I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Hermanubis is watching.
Everyone, old and young. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler, but our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, I went to the rainforest once, and I saw from times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free now than in the past. Then I thought of you, Cyno. Each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for something different. Might, glory. I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another.
I am more than just a warrior. I am my own person.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than... Bring Bring it on!
That's all you've got? What happened to searching for your answer? Fight's over.
Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule Tula Tainarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
How is it? Do you feel okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos.
I know. I'll miss him.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. At least, he was able to see this chapter come to a close before he passed.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes, the Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the largest number of Hermanubis fragments. That entitles you to be our new leader, Cyno.
But that's never going to work, as I'm sure you realize. I'm the General Mahamat. I did foresee this possibility, and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, records, and Sethos. I believe the honor should go to you. Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I.
But doesn't that render everything that we've been through up to now meaningless?
No, it doesn't. This experience has allowed us to become friends, which means that the academia, that's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself, times have changed. You have to believe that things can change for the...
I will try. To be honest...
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create that way. No matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our Ba fragment. And the power of... Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled its strength. And were I to win, He correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly drop everything to become the leader of the temple. He knew that the temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the academia too. So he made it his responsibility to ensure his successor would be free from the burdens of the past. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the academia. With one single letter, he lured out the professor. No matter what happened after that, it would result in a net benefit to the temple.
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these trivial details. You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with the academia. In that sense, the right of duels was just a means to an end. Thank you for everything, Cyno. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord Kusanali deem worthy, I will grant the honor of access to the Temple of Silence for their pursuit of knowledge. The Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, more than any other organization, but you must be exceedingly careful with your selection of candidates, lest you lead humanity to repeat the same mistakes. By the way, Tighnari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the Veluca Shuna. The story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from among the Tighnarians, and he went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tighnarian companions. They always stood by each other. From the founding of the Temple of Silence, the Tighnarians who left Tuletula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, when some of the group returned to the desert, in all likelihood, those were your ancestors.
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tighnarians, but I never knew that my
I like this story.
By the way, has anyone seen
Yes. Cyrus. You'll probably find him in my grandfather's room. He wouldn't show it in front of me, but I think he still has many.
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn out this way, then I guess...
Who knows? Perhaps all of us. You, me...
Someone's got to make the decisions when history is at a... I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali, and arrange for an official delegation from... I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. But once things return to normal, please come and visit the rainforest. If we're going to work together, both sides have to get to know one another better.
I will. All right, well...
See you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if—
Oh, please, will you stop your—
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that a one-man suicide mission, hmm? That's the best idea that one of the finest minds—
All right, all right. Honest.
I've got nothing more—
What do you mean, bag of bones? I'm a flesh and blood hero who, despite his old age, saved our General Mahamatra from being stripped of his powers. Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was...
1 month? Try 3.
Tighnari's master is really laying into Cyrus. give them a what?
Professor brought this on himself. Don't...
Wow, I haven't seen Master get this riled up in a long time. The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was still a student.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. We can go for dinner afterwards. My treat. You in?
Makes sense. I'm in.
Paimon's coming too!
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days?
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. Yes, and you too. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me?
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved. Do I make myself clear? Because if you don't,
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. Alright. Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Farazan acting like some sort of official
Kale! Cup.
Huh? What? Oh! What do you mean, cup? Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a fan.
Oh, that's kinda...
Mm-hmm. 2 people left. Let's bring them along too. Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used. Look, there's a whole mountain of...
There's no rush. Nobody reads these books anyway.
My sincere thanks to you both.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather swiftly and painlessly. And the...
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well. I'd love to go check...
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization, and we'll be sure to maintain... Now, as a token of my appreciation, I'd like to treat everyone to coffee.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few...
Sure. Let's go.
And then the Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked him right out cold. Then there was Tighnari. He put up an amazing fight too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts.
Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but I'd have been biting my...
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified of you, Cyno.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true champ.
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk before.
Yeah, huge place. It felt like something right out of an epic poem. Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon. Dessert's here.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading?
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes.
Kali's come a long way. She's much more...
Everyone's a work in progress. You never...
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's fun. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well done.
Do you 3 have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now. Wouldn't want...
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about.
Well, now Paimon's curious.
Been a while since I last made... Need any help?
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can...
Traveler, turn around. This is my secret base. Somewhere I only bring my best. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Zethos was asking. Who am I? Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And I'm sure...
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no...
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit.
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers.
Those were good times.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some...
Then make it stop. There's somebody there. It's... You guys carry on without me.
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed to...
my days. I can't believe...
Professor, what are you...
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found?
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of art. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. I swung by the old office. Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture.
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one. I remember that. Lisa took...
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just...
And this one. Looks like we're both dozing off.
Oh, cheeky girl. Taking secret photos of...
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are... Hey, at moments like this, I hardly know where to begin. I can't pretend I'm a good person. But Moon had every reason to despise me. And well, so do you.
Don't be ridiculous, you old cod.
Is that not what you want? Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Sometimes I've dreamed that I was doing research with him again. Oh, it was one of the You've matured so much over the years, Cyno.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave.
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes were supposed... Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many did...
Look how cute you were when you were little. I remember how well
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan jokes, and now you're besting me at those little quips too.
Don't say that. I still have a lot of respect for you.
That's more like... Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again sometime?
I'd like that. Let's find a time and pay her a visit in Mondstadt.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Let's go next week. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got to beat...
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor.
Time has passed, but it turns out grown-up kids are no use. Time is... But it turns out grown-up kids... Oh, that...
Great view today. This atmosphere calls for a joke out of...